Thank you, Ryan, and welcome everybody. Excited to be here today, excited to be out in San Francisco and talking about usage-based economics, and certainly something that is changing the way that we go to market. And for the record, I had the clicker the whole time. Subscriptions are table stakes, I will assert, and welcome to the usage economy. Increasingly, we're starting to see in B2B scenarios as well as in consumer scenarios a desire to get more value for money. Obviously, the world's economics have changed significantly over the last 5 years. And whether you're dealing with consumers or whether you're dealing with businesses, you need to be demonstrating very clear value for money, or you need to be demonstrating a very clear outcome for money. Your commercial interaction with the market is a part of your product, whether you believe it or not. You can win or lose customers based on the way that you monetize and go to market and the way that you demonstrate value. I recall going through this industry at a time where it was one-time transactions, a perpetual license that you would sell to your customer, maybe a piece of hardware or a server, and you would have a maintenance annuity attached to that, which you would collect 20% over the years. That shifted into a recurring revenue model and into the subscription economy probably about a decade ago. And people are starting to become fatigued by that. And an example in our daily lives certainly would be cable television. We were having a dinner with some of our customers last night, and 3 or 4 of us were standing around going, none of us have cable television anymore. And why? Because you're paying $3,000 or $4,000 a year for something which you may or may not use, for 1 or 2 channels that you may or may not want, and you're having an opaque, expensive plan foisted upon you for 900 channels so that you can watch the 2 that you want. And people are tired of that, right? We're keen to that now, and technology empowers better ways of monetizing the products that we take to market. So we're very excited to be here today to talk about the usage economy. And this is a summit that we would like to start to bring out with some regularity to talk about advancing the technology in this space and the way that we go to market. And very excited to have you all here to share some of this with us today. And a huge thank you, of course, to our sponsors and to our speakers who will be participating in the summit and sharing some of their knowledge with you as we go through the day. We've got lots of breaks, lots of opportunity to network. Myself, the speakers will be out there. So come grab us, come chat with us, because we love to talk about this stuff. And it's going to become increasingly imperative in technology to adopt this style of monetization, I deeply believe, and for a number of reasons. AI is the Wild West right now. Everybody's got to pin an AI shingle on their business. Whether or not you've actually got an AI solution feels like everybody's got to talk about it. Everybody's got to mention it. But the prescriptive and real use cases to deliver value are still a little bit nebulous. And we think that we have some hints on how that can be improved. The pace at which we're incorporating these sorts of solutions, and you may or may not be incorporating AI, but the pace at which they are being incorporated into our products, and AI-powered X and AI augmented Y is continuing to expand. And we have to be able to leverage those capabilities. And it's not just in software. This could be in travel and entertainment, hospitality, certainly X as a service, communications, you name it. It's just about every industry is affected by these changes. And there's opportunity for extreme automation in this. And why is Adam up talking about AI and automation in a usage-based economics summit? I'm going to hint at that in a couple of slides, but I will try to move quickly here because I want to make sure that I hit the time. Implementing usage-based monetization patterns and go-to-market can help you to share risk when adopting new customers, meaning that the burden isn't exclusively on the customer to pay out capital up front, take on all of the risk to enjoy your solution or to try it out. And sharing that risk can help to expedite sales cycles, can help to make sales more effective. You can introduce tools, technologies like prepaid consumption and drawdown buckets with usage-based monetization to help your organization get your DSO down, get cash up front from customers, and for customers to feel confident that they will be able to get value for all of that money over time as they remove credits from those buckets and they consume the services that your company is offering in market. And it's certainly a differentiator. Usage-based economics. I'll go back another very colloquial example in our consumer lives, and I'll go back to that cable television example. Cable television was replaced by all of these streaming services, and many households now have 8, 9, 10 different subscriptions. to different streaming services. You're spending the same that you were on cable. I would assert that the first content streamer that comes out with a prepaid drawdown bucket that charges you just for the content that you consume will retain a huge amount of their base and will differentiate themselves amongst the competition. And what does good look like? You can improve your net revenue retention. You can grow more quickly. You can drive product-led growth to market by sharing some of that risk and helping your customers to adopt more of your products and services with ease. And importantly, these models are proliferating throughout technology. 60% of SaaS companies, it is believed, have some component of usage in their go-to-market. And you might be monetizing bits and bytes, you might be monetizing compute, you might be monetizing storage in a direct usage-based model, or increasingly, and perhaps newly, we're starting to see outcome-based monetization, where we have shifted from this opaque ownership, perpetual license, maintenance, annuity type model in technology to access to technologies, subscription services, to outcomes. And outcomes are becoming more and more prevalent, and they make a lot of sense. I would like to pay only when I have achieved success. I would like for my business to be charged only when you have provided value to me as a vendor. So that might be something like a shift from selling kilobytes or API requests to a customer being served, a ticket being resolved, a photo being retouched by a piece of productivity software. And we can see these changes with vendors in the marketplace today. OpenAI monetizes queries based on tokens. That's a layer of abstraction. And when you get an outcome from that generative AI, tokens are deducted from your account. That's usage-based or outcome-based monetization. Salesforce, Agentforce, I believe $2 a conversation, $2 for a resolved ticket. That's much more attractive in 2024 to a business ensuring that you're going to get value for those outcomes, that you're going to be charged when your customers are served, when they're happy. Sword, giving AI healthcare-based outcomes. Hitachi Rail, very interesting one. I believe this is in London, UK. And they only charge the City of London, or the area with which they're contracted, for outcome-based monetization of their rail services. How much rolling stock was available? Was the train on time? Was it able to run? Did it require a maintenance window? And so you can imagine a hugely capital-intensive project like implementing a rail network and monetizing it on a usage basis to say to the municipality, the government contracting the project, this is a multi-million or multi-billion dollar project. We're only going to charge you as you get successful outcomes from our services. The trains run on time, they're available, and your constituency is being served. That's outcome-based monetization. In order to accomplish that, you have to know whether or not the trains are arriving on time, whether or not there is rolling stock available. You have to know whether or not the cab temperature within the train, much like this room, is too hot or too cold. And were the customers happy, and did they arrive safely on location on time? 11x, this is an interesting one. Actually, LogiSense is a customer. Artificial intelligence-based prospecting and communication out to market. And you're charged when you have a successful account contact. You get charged when you have a successful meeting. That is an outcome-based monetization. All of these are flavors of usage-based economics to deliver direct value for money to customers through these go-to-market models. And it doesn't stop here. Amazon Web Services, a great example. And we're going to hear from Amazon Web Services a little bit later today. Their team is here and you can chat with them. A very prolific example of usage-based monetization. If you were asking for a commitment, if you could spend X million dollars a year with me for 3 years, I could perhaps get you a discount or a preferential rate. Do you feel comfortable committing today to what your business is going to use exactly 3 years from now? Probably not. But if I can put that money on account in a prepaid consumption drawdown model, usage-based go-to-market, and say that you could spend those credits across any of our SKUs, across any of our services, in any way, in any combination, at any time, do you feel comfortable committing to a total amount? Well, yes, I feel much more comfortable with that. Because I can't possibly predict exactly how much compute or storage I'm going to use 3 years from now in tech, but I can feel comfortable committing to an overall spend knowing that I'm able to draw that down across the entire suite of services. And as I get relevant outcomes for my business from you as a vendor, you'll charge me for it. I'm happy with that. Another solution, I'll call it Amazon again here, is Amazon Mechanical Turk. Is anybody familiar with Mechanical Turk? Human-based marketplace to go and have a task resolved by a human being. You put the work that you need done out on Amazon Mechanical Turk, assign a price to it. Somebody, a contractor out there, will take and accept that task. They'll do the work for you, and then they'll charge you for it, for a discrete task. It's doing the same thing, usage-based or outcome-based monetization in a marketplace, incorporating human beings doing work. Riskified, per fraud-free transaction. That is a desirable outcome, and you charge me for that. Phone screen, $3 a screen. Call fast, 92 cents an appointment. So we see these outcome-based monetization models becoming more and more prolific, certainly, and more prevalent. People are talking a lot about them. But the way that they directly deliver value to customers and the way that it is obvious to them and the flexibility that they empower is very, very attractive. There's been some scuttlebutt that perhaps this is the new ARR, the next evolution of ARR. It's becoming increasingly competitive in technology to get wallet share, certainly in B2B scenarios, but also in B2C scenarios. And the concept of the old-timey transaction, one-time, fire and forget, is almost non-existent nowadays, certainly in X as a service and in software as a service. On this range here, we see an evolution from a long sales cycle to do a capital-intensive one-time purchase, the old style of monetization, which would be on this side of the speedometer, all the way up to purely usage-based or outcome-based, the new ARR style of monetization. Shortened sales cycle, customers taking on less risk. More attractive and competitive pricing models where you can incorporate multiple services. If you're selling a piece of software today, perhaps on a subscription basis, and you want to add an AI element to that, whatever that might mean for your organization or your go-to-market, can you do that in a way where you don't require the customer to go through a huge recontracting process to sell a totally new product to them? Or can you have a go-to-market which incorporates the concept of, I'll hit this prepaid consumption drawdown model again, and each time sales wants to go and upsell the customer, it's not a full procurement process, it's topping up that bucket. Same vendor, same program, same plan, I'm just cutting a new purchase order to top up the bucket. It's a shorter sales cycle. You have less people to convince. You don't have to do a full review with legal again. You don't have to recontract every time you sell a new product. And through customer self-service, through portals, customers can be empowered to self-select the new or additional products and services that they want. And if they're only paying for an outcome or for the usage that they get, you can understand why this would expedite sales cycles and remove some of the unease from new customers or prospects to help you grow, to help you sell more, and to help you differentiate against your competition. And it's not an all or nothing proposition, meaning that, well, today I have very predictable ARR revenue based off of flat subscriptions. And sure, you know, we churn 20% of those a year, but we sell 40%. So we're growing it by 20 and we're pretty happy with that. And my CEO and my CFO get really nervous when I tell them that I can't know to the penny what next year's revenue on this day will be. Well, that might mean that a fully usage-based model isn't right for you. And there is a spectrum in between. It's not an all or nothing proposition. And getting to the right value metric and the right model for your business, whether it's a dynamic discounting based on volume on top of a minimum commitment, whether it's an outcome-based model, meaning I'm going to charge you $1 every time I do for you what I promise I will do for you, finding that right model and that right balance and that right value metric is key to the business decisions necessary to implement these types of models in market. There's a lot of people here at the summit today who are very good at this and who consult on this and who can talk about the strategy behind how you would shift perhaps from a flat-free subscription model, a one-time sale or transaction, to a more modern usage or outcome-based model for your business and for your market. Remember when the sales cycle looked something like this? You would engage a prospect, you would educate them, they would make some form of selection, you would send down a couple of salespeople who would go out golfing, take them to a steak dinner, sit down over a contract, try to hit a deal, and then you're going to try to renew them forever and uplift them. With an outcome-based model, you can shorten that sales cycle because you're taking a little bit of the risk in favor of growth of your product, in favor of differentiation. You can start to deliver value and outcomes to customers during the sales cycle versus waiting for the contract to be signed, the implementation to be complete, and then a year from now, you're going to start to really adopt the value of this and understand it. You can start to get customers access to products earlier in the cycle and have them make a commitment, and you have better pricing power over your solutions if the prospect is already using and understanding how they will get value from your solution. And this style of go-to-market can empower that. And then the second half of the funnel going out, becomes more about, and more importantly about, upselling the customer, ensuring that they're getting value from the solution that you're bringing to market, ensuring that they're happy, ensuring that you can offer them additional products and services. And if you've implemented something like a prepaid model, you can just add additional SKUs. They can deplete it. They can try the new products. You don't have to recontract. You don't have to resell. And hopefully in the long run, you're going to drive way more lifetime value out of that customer, way better retention rates, because you don't feel as though the revenue is being, or that the money is being wasted going out the door to vendors that you may or may not be getting value for the solution from. And in 2024, we all look at what are we paying for that we're not using right now? Probably every business in the room has gone through this exercise over the past 5 years. I've got $20 million a year in spend on software subscriptions and services. Are we even using them? Are we using them all? Are we getting value out of them? How many in the room have been beaten up by a CFO or a CEO over that very topic in the last 24 months? What are you spending $30 million a year on software subscriptions for? For what? For whom? Who's using it? Who's getting value out of it? But if you have an outcome-based model, a usage-based model where there's a direct correlation between usage and value, or money for value, you're less likely to have to defend those points against a CFO or a CEO who are going looking for savings. So there is a better way to do this and to reduce your sales cycle, to have better pricing power, to have a better outcome, to have customers self-direct in their sales process, to reduce DSOs, to shift when the payment takes place, to take cash up front, to negotiate better deals and longer contracts where the customer can be more sure that they will get value for money. And with 10 minutes left here, I want to talk a little bit more about AI and why usage-based monetization is going to inform your artificial intelligence solutions both externally and internally within your business to drive actual efficiency within your organization from AI solutions. How many people are sick of hearing about AI and not seeing one real use case that delivers value? If this was a large trade show and we had 1,000 booths lined up, every one of them would have a bubble tacked on the side of the booth that says artificial intelligence enabled. Because if you don't do that today, you're sort of missing out. But outside of a few prescriptive examples, like the fact that some of these generative AI models can create English prose, and it can shorten the amount of time it takes to create marketing material, to create language, to deliver responses or chatbot-style interactions with customers, the promise of this omniscient AI that knows everything about your business has not manifested itself. Show it to me. Where does it exist? If you were to go to Llama or to ChatGPT or pick the model of your choice today and say, who are my top 20 customers? Who's growing most quickly? What is my best product? And which product is purchased within 1 month of the best product? And what bundle should I create? ChatGPT will hallucinate and make up some response for you. And the response might be, I don't know, I can't answer that question. Or it could just make something up. So that's not particularly useful in the context of one discrete business. But usage-based monetization and usage-based telemetry can enhance artificial intelligence use cases inside of and outside of your business. And I will explain how here. What we do for a living at LogiSense is to deliver the usage-based monetization platforms that empower these go-to-market models that I'm talking about this morning. And by virtue of that, we have a capability within our platform, which is called a mediation or data transformation engine, which can ingest at scale large volumes of data, can transform them, enrich them, mutate them, supplement them, and usher them to other services within your organization's IT infrastructure. Why is that important? Why is that relevant? Well, as I said, I can't go to ChatGPT today and ask it a question about my discrete business. But with this telemetry from usage-based monetization, I now understand every customer and product interaction, what was used, where, when, by whom, and in which succession of products were used, who used them, how much did I charge for them, when did that customer pay, what did they use next, etc. I know everything about the interaction of my customers, my products, and the finances that concern both of them. And in real time, we can prompt engineer any AI model to respond with mathematically and data accurate, salient answers about your business. So if you could I believe I had read that ChatGPT 5 cost $1.2 billion to train. Very few businesses in the world, if any, who are not AI providers are going to spend $1 billion to train their own generative AI model, right? To incorporate with their solutions. But if I am able to take any model and prompt engineer it with relevant usage, commercial, product, customer telemetry in real time at the time of query, all of a sudden an AI model is able to start to answer relevant questions about my specific business. Which of my customers is most likely to churn? Why? What product is customer X about to purchase next? And how can I sell it to them? And what volume might they consume? If at the time that I generate that query in English language to an AI, chatbot interface, a Slack bot, whatever it might be, I can also provide the relevant data and math necessary from this mediation, from this usage-based monetization engine. The AI can actually answer those questions accurately, relevantly. And that might not feel like a big deal, but I assure you it is a big deal. Because if you're a large business, or if you have a data set so large that it is beyond the capacity of an individual human to comprehend, the AI can start to do things and provide insights that you would not otherwise have access to. So imagine you're an organization with 5,000 or 10,000 employees. And every week, each employee asks a question that takes an hour of another employee's time. I'm a product manager. I email finance and say, who are my top 10 customers by usage, by geography, by product? What did they buy last? And what did they buy before that? And what's my best option to create a bundle to have all of my other customers adopt? Public AI model can't answer that question. If, however, I supplement it with the usage telemetry necessary to actually answer that question accurately and provide it through a method of prompt engineering at real time, these AI models can actually start to answer those questions, provide the data, and do accurate math. If you've got 5,000 or 10,000 employees and you save 1 hour a week for each of those employees, and I think that's a pretty conservative estimate based on the types of questions that this could resolve, you're talking about millions or tens of millions of dollars of labor productivity savings per year, where humans can go focus on other more important, more abstract, more creative, more strategic sorts of things. And the AI can start to take away the day-to-day, yep, I made a pivot table for you, I answered your question, here's your report. The AI will become fully capable of answering those sorts of questions. And this technology exists today. So I say that to say this. It's all about the usage data and contemplating these types of usage-based go-to-market models. It will help you to differentiate within your industry. It will help you to demonstrate value for money to your customers. It will help you to drive better retention because customers are seeing a clear demonstration of value for money. It will help you to innovate commercially against your competition because your commercial model is a part of your product, both in B2B and B2C. Whether you believe it or not, it is a part of your product. I will tell you, running a billing company, you can send 1,000 bills, you'll never hear from a customer. You get one wrong, you're going to have them on the phone in the morning, right? So getting this right is very important. And furthermore, in the context of AI, this data, knowing everything that happens between your customer and product interactions, finance, payments, billing, etc., and using that to prompt engineer generative AI models can start to make a productive worker at scale that can answer complex questions across vast data sets for your organization or for your customers' organizations to start to deliver the promise of AI automation that we've been talking about for the last year or two. And beyond the capacity to have chatbot-style natural language interactions with humans, which are very valuable and relevant and important in a number of industries, but also to provide mathematically relevant, accurate answers about your prescriptive business, to have an AI who works for you and for your company and can answer your questions and can answer your needs for productivity. So what would I ask you to take away with a couple minutes left here? Usage-based monetization is proliferating. 60% of SaaS companies have it. It's relevant to a number of different industries. It is becoming the new table stakes around monetization and commercial differentiation, in particular for SaaS companies, X-as-a-service companies, telecommunications, connected devices, etc. This type of monetization can improve your customer outcomes. You can charge based on outcomes. You can drive long-term retention. You can make your customers happy that they're getting value for money. You can drive growth by sharing risk between the vendor and the prospect or the customer, cut your sales cycles, and further differentiate. And how this is brought to market, how AI is used, and how AI can be a productive agent within your own business, let alone your external go-to-market, is contingent on the quality of the data that you can provide to a generative model to answer questions about your specific business, customers, and products. So I will say to the room, welcome to the usage economy. I'd love to talk more about this today, and we'll hopefully see you at breaks, and we'll have a chance to talk a little bit more. But I think these are 3 salient points for the group to take away today, and hopefully we can discuss it a little bit more in the afternoon. And we'll say thank you for attending, and we're going to hear more from our speakers and from our panel as we go through the morning. Thank you very much, everyone.